What's up, my little tattletales? Listen, breaking news. R. Kelly, the Pied Piper, has been sentenced to over 30 years in prison on racketeering and trafficking charges. The disgraced singer was convicted on federal charges last year. He was just sentenced today. 30 years. He was found guilty of all counts. And get this, the victims all read, who they're referred to as Jane Does, all read their emotional statements in court. Now get this. Prior to sentences, 7 of the victims addressed the court to share impact statements and speak directly to their abuser. One person said, "I'm a representation of every woman, boy, child, man that you have ever afflicted with your deplorable, inexplicable acts. And with that, I leave you with yourself, Robert Sylvester Kelly," right? She went under the Jane Doe Angela. She also testified during the trial, and she said to R. Kelly, "You used your fame and power to groom and coach underage boys and girls for your own gratification." Now, I do want to say this. I find it not odd because justice comes when it comes, but people really started taking this R. Kelly thing seriously when they found out that he was messing with little boys, right? I would say allegedly, but whatever. Anyway, Kitty Jones also talked about what she suffered during her 2-year relationship with R. Kelly. They said, "Many of us have been waiting for this day to come." Another victim also, it's literally made an impact statement to Kelly. Now, if you guys don't know, impact statements are what, after the trial's over, both parties rest before the judge deliberates. The victims are allowed to come and actually make a statement and address the court. It is literally the purpose of it to have impact. The victims want to put their finger on the scales of justice. Now, these are all anonymous. So it was, just so you guys want to know, Portia Williams was not there. Like she said, she was not a victim. She was the fiance. She was staying in the master bedroom while all these girls were, but then she got moved to the mirror bedroom. You know what? Let's not make jokes because this is serious. Another victim said, "I don't know if I'll ever be whole. What you did has left a permanent stain on my life that I will never be able to wash away. I'm sure you never think about that. You are an abuser. You are shameless. You are disgusting. And you are self-serving." She said, "I hope you go to jail for the rest of your life." Now, it's important to note that in asking the judge for leniency, R. Kelly's lawyer, I think her name's Jennifer Bongen, said that R. Kelly spent his childhood in a highly chaotic home. No, she didn't. A highly chaotic home. She also said that he, too, was a victim of abuse and also said he was a musical genius. She said that he rejects that he is a monster. All monsters reject that they are monsters. That's why the villain at the end of every horror movie got to be told they're the villain, because they're just like, what? I didn't know I was the villain. Am I the villain? Am I the villain? No, I'm not the villain. No villain. Haven't you ever seen a Superman movie? What villain actually thinks they're a villain? Man, if you don't stop, and he's a musical genius, I'm going to try that next time I get pulled over and the cop tries to give me a ticket. I'm going to be like, "No, but did you know I can play an electronic keyboard? Yeah, hit slow jazz boom bop number 6, put it up, bop, bop, bop. Ooh, sweet Jesus." What the hell does being a musical? Have we moved that far out of God's path that we are literally talking about because somebody is a musical genius? They're not a monster. Yo, let's send a memo out to all the monsters and villains in every Marvel movie. Just learn to play the saxophone and you ain't never going to be guilty of anything. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. So listen, let's get into some details because I know you want me to paint the scene. So R. Kelly entered the courtroom. It was just before 10:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. He was wearing khaki jail scrubs, a shirt buttoned down, right? And of course, a white undershirt. And, he had his hair cut down and he had glasses on. Now listen, basically he was wearing the prison special, right? There were 6 people who were in the row for R. Kelly supporters. And there were 3 women who claimed to be his sisters. Okay, so the judge then was like, there will be no talking, no reaction of any kind, or court security officer will remove anybody who does that. That's what the judge said. The judge is Ann Donnelly. Anyway, Gloria Alford was sitting with the survivors. She was representing them, right? Now, as the survivors entered the courtroom, almost all of them hug Gloria Alford one by one. That's not saying anything. That's just courtroom dramatics. You got to make it seem like, oh, thank you, right? Now, get this. Kelly's conviction, he was looking at a minimum of 10 years of prison. So he already knew he was doing some tell, right? But also, he was looking at potential life behind bars, right? And literally, prosecutors literally said that he deserved at least a 25-year sentence, if not more, for the decades he spent exploiting, abusing women, underage girls, right? Then the lawyer pushed back and was like, nah, I think 14 years is appropriate. Can you imagine? I guess defense attorneys got to do everything, right? The guilty verdict was handed down against him last year, right? It was long awaited and many was long overdue. It was a stroke of justice around the world against him. This is what people are saying. Don't forget when he illegally married the singer Aaliyah when she was 15. And in 2022, he was indicted for that famous case that ended in a not guilty verdict of all 14 counts. If you haven't seen the Boondocks episode of that, you need to listen to it because they really were like, because he's a great singer and y'all like step in the name of love, he's somehow being framed and needs to be let free. God, that was a dark time to be alive. I swear to God, it was just a dark time. Now, this was from 6 women that leveled the charges. These were federal charges. They said he used lies, manipulations, threats, abuse to dominate, and he groomed people for activity, despite the fact that they could not consent. They also literally outlined the extensive enterprise that R. Kelly had made to help him carry out his crimes in so many ways. He distributed his phone number to underage people at concerts, driving women. They had people driving women to appointments with Kelly. Oh my God, that's what Portia said she did. Remember they said they picked her up from the airport and said she'd be staying in the mirrored boom boom room? I'm not even joking. Do y'all think that Portia was actually telling the truth in her book and she really thought she was R. Kelly's girlfriend? Or do you think Portia was just trying to hide her shame at being one of them? Because you know how she's like, I'm not like the other girls. I look exotic. I got my edges is laid. I look exotic, right? Anyway. They drove women to appointments, keeping them under surveillance, even bribing a government employee to make a fake ID for Aaliyah when she was underage. I didn't know that happened. Oh my God. Now listen, while charges have wrapped for the sentencing, he's still facing charges in Chicago. He's facing 13 charges of child P, enticing a minor into conspiracy to obstruct justice, and a latter charge tied to Kelly's previous. Oh my God, that trial. Whoa, though the Chicago trial was supposed to begin in April 2020, it was delayed first by COVID and then by discovering of a hidden cache of 100 electronic devices belonging to Kelly. Oh my God, the trial's beginning August 1st. Should we cover this? I don't know. It's kind of dark. I literally like covering lighthearted stuff. Anyway, Lena McClin, she's a Chicago area music teacher. She serves as both a mentor and second mother, literally said, this news is truly heartbreaking, but I hope the situation will bring forth a period of repentance and remorse upon his soul. No one wants to see a loved one going through something like this, but we must all answer to God, the judge of all. I sincerely pray that peace and healing will be granted to all those affected. And I pray that Robert uses his time to reflect on his choices that led to all this. Listen, the only thing I'm going to keep my opinions to myself. But you know what? There are some things on this earth that's unforgivable. And there is no forgiveness, not even on heaven, hell, or on this earth. Woo! He better pray somebody has mercy on his soul, because the pits of hell are calling for him. Okay, I'll stop making jokes, but let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.